Hello students, welcome to CrackGradeB online learning platform. Today we have special guest with us, Mr. Saurabh Gupta. He has cracked RBI Grade B 2022. So today he will share his journey, how he has achieved this success. So first of all, many congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
And today he is going to share his journey. So now you will share it.
Thank you so much for the brief introduction, sir. My name is Saurabh Gupta. I have completed my BCom in 2018, and post that I have completed my Masters also in Commerce, and it has ended in 2022 itself. And I've been preparing for UPSC as well for the past 3 years, and post that during that phase I have given 2 attempts of RBI, but unfortunately I was not able to succeed in that, and this was my 3rd attempt. But technically speaking, my full-fledged preparation happened in this attempt as only. So this is the first attempt that I prepared fully as well.
Okay, so many of the UPSC aspirants are also nowadays diverted towards this RBI Grade B regulatory bodies exam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you started preparation parallel to the UPSC preparation, or you stop your UPSC preparation then targeted RBI? So your suggestion to the UPSC aspirants?
No, sir. Technically, if I recall my times, I did not prepare for RBI back then. But yes, during my preparation, I did give 2 attempts. So I had a brief knowledge about as to what the examination was, as to what. But I could not succeed due to various reasons. But after my 3rd attempt last October, I stopped the preparation for UPSC completely and decided to shift my focus fully towards RBI.
Okay. So most of the aspirants, as you have attempted also the previous year attempts. So nowadays the quant and reasoning is, and even GA is also difficult.
Very difficult, yes,
nowadays
sir.
in this RBI Grade B exam specifically.
Yes, sir.
So what was your strategy to specifically to crack these subjects?
For the phase 1 itself?
Phase 1 itself, and what were your sources for the general awareness preparation?
Sir, particularly if we say the phase 1, we need to look at the broad spectrum as to how subjects are divided, and then make a strategy accordingly as to what is one's strengths and weaknesses. I particularly focused on GA part because it has a 40% weightage, and post that I mainly used English as a backup because I was not too much fluent in quant and reasoning. So I just had the goal to clear the cutoff and score as much as I can, but did not prepare very much to the next end. So this was the broad strategy that I followed for phase 1. Now coming to the sources part, for the GA part, what I can suggest is one can refer a video source which one can use while traveling, and one can refer a PDF source as well, which is a constant source which should be followed on a regular basis. Do not do like we do it on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, but the weekly or the monthly basis should be just act as a revision, not as a primary source. You should definitely follow it daily and revise it regularly.
Okay. So as a number of students also have myth about that you should follow newspaper on daily basis. So did you follow newspaper on daily basis?
Yes, sir. I definitely followed a newspaper because it helps in 2 aspects. Firstly, it helps you to comprehend things as to what is going on, because what we see in magazines or the daily videos as well is very much limited to the exam orientation. But if we limit ourselves to just that much focus, we won't be able to connect all the dots and present a better answer in the descriptive portion. So our aim is just not to clear the phase 1, but to prepare for the phase 2 as well accordingly. And moreover, sir, it helps in the English part as well, as it helps you to in the RC part, because we have to comprehend a lot of things, and in the press part as well. If I read a editorial of say 1000 words, and if I'm able to summarize it for myself in almost 100 words, then I'm good to go for the press part as well in the actual examination. In that aspect, I would say newspaper helps. And thirdly, sir, in some vocabulary words also do come from the newspaper, which can also act as a filler point in phase 1 in the English part.
This year also have you seen that in GA paper directly they referred question in GA from the newspaper.
Yes, definitely.
Question asked, in question they mentioned that as per the newspaper.
Yes, definitely.
And sometimes these platforms may not be able to cover some important information.
Definitely.
You can read only in the newspaper.
Yes.
So what was the main source of the general awareness, as most of the candidates follow Affairs Cloud?
Yes, sir. I also followed Affairs Cloud only. I referred from almost Jan to May. That was the primary duration for which my main focus was. But since I prepared from October itself, I had a brief idea as to how events were unfolding themselves and what are the all important events on which a descriptive question could be made, rather than more focusing on the what we say objective part. Because this year we have seen a question that December report was asked in the financial stability report, which was released in December. So that is why that part also becomes important, because the official reports, as I've mentioned always, they are the key source to our preparation in regulatory bodies like RBI.
Okay. And now comes to the reasoning and quant part. Many students were struggling to clear the cutoff, sectional cutoff in this. So what was your strategy specifically for the quant and reasoning in the exam, and what sources specifically you followed?
Honestly, sir, I was not very much good at quant and reasoning as compared to a lot of people who are from the banking background and who have cleared very tough examinations like SBI or IBPSPO. So my strategy was very much simple and basic. What I did was to clear the basics first from any YouTube source or any video course that you can that you feel relevant to your preparation, and post that I gave as many mock tests as possible. I had no count as to how many mock tests that I gave regarding the quant and reasoning for the sectional part as well. Regarding the phase 1 itself, I gave almost like 25 to 30 mocks. That is full length mocks that were also very much helpful. Now coming to the individual strategy, in the reasoning part, what I followed was I went through the whole paper at once in the starting itself. It took me almost like 3 to 4 minutes, and I jotted down all the questions itself, like the puzzle from 1 to 5, 6, 7 to 9. This is the question number of, because in IBPS pattern you cannot toggle very smoothly as compared to some test platforms, which is like very much smooth. So that helps you save the time, and that helps you filter the questions as to which one I can attempt, which one I cannot. Similarly, I made a whole list of questions that were asked. Example, slogs is the question from this to this, and miscellaneous part, and the what we say direction, distance, syllogism, and all the other components. After I went through all the paper, now I have a clear idea as to what I can attempt and what I cannot attempt. This gives you a very much good approach as to how to move forward, rather than just looking at the question and attempting it straightforward.
So since last 2 years, in 2021 and 22, both years, question selection have played a great role in both quant and reasoning.
Definitely.
Sectional cutoff is very less, but questions selection played a great role in your selection.
Yes,
many of the brilliant aspirants were out because they started attempting a question puzzles without going through all the questions.
Exactly. Yes. Because there are many questions which can act as a bonus question, since there are various opportunities to clear the sectional cutoff itself. So my first focus was to attempt those questions first, and then later move on to the questions which will give me additional benefit, such as the puzzle itself. I would go through the puzzle very quickly, like in 1 minute or so, to see as to whether I could attempt it or not. You should have enough practice so that you can analyze the question by just reading it itself. It should not be like I am wasting 5 minutes of my question and then I'm like I should not have attempted that. That sets a very bad panic and can disturb the whole environment as well.
Actually, we have also seen analyze the paper that like coding decoding was there. 4 to 5 marks you can easily
score from. I also attempted that question. Yes.
And inequalities, slopes,
blood relation question. Yes.
These are very easy questions, and logical reasoning questions.
Logical reasoning. Yes, sir, definitely. Yes. These are the questions that can help you clear the cutoff.
You need to the cutoff. As we have seen the last 2 years, the paper is very difficult. Cutoff is lower side.
It is just 66. If the cutoff is 66, then we can imagine what is the level of questions being asked. So our goal primarily should not be to attempt every question that we come across, but it should be smart enough that we are able to attempt the question and get it right with better accuracy and clear the overall cutoff as well. So that was my primary approach towards quant and reasoning as well. I did the same thing in quant. I made a list of questions as to this was question from DI and from data interpretation or any other sources like the basic arithmetic, and there was one question from quadratic equations as well. So I made a similar list and I went through all those questions, toggled easily, and just attempted those many questions. So with greater accuracy you can score better and clear the cutoff, because I understand the quant is very much difficult. For someone it might not be, but for me it was very much. So this approach definitely helped me.
Yes, and we also analyzed the paper of this year and previous year. We have also analyzed in quant specifically. You will see that always a 5 marks DI question is easy. That is to clear the cutoff.
It was also this time also there was one
always
question.
We have seen we analyzed the papers every year. 5
So,
marks in DI paper is easy question.
hmm.
Second DI may be difficult.
Difficult.
5 marks
Huh.
is always easy. Some
But
questions-
but to find that question, it is only possible if you go through the whole paper.
Yes.
If you just begin from the start itself, you won't be able to reach till the end, because the paper in itself is very lengthy, and it hurts the most when you can answer a question but you could not attempt it because it was at the end. So I'd recommend people to follow this strategy and see whether they are improving or not.
Okay. So now come to the English part. What was the strategy? Most of the students used to ask about this also. Those who are weak in English specifically. So what was your strategy for English, or any source you followed?
Firstly, we need to analyze that are we really weak in English, or are we not just enough to clear the exam demands. Because what happens is we are not able to articulate our things properly in English, and then we feel that we are weak in English. So there is two things between speaking English and what is asked in the examination. For this reason, we can attempt as many mocks as possible and then analyze that yes, I am good at mocks, I can score well, but I'm not able to speak. That means I'm not bad at English, but I'm good enough to clear the cutoff, clear the examination. If that is the case, then you can improve upon the basics, improve from the mocks itself. And then what I did was write down my own notes as to what new vocabulary words came or anything else. Now comes the second case, as to if a person is weak in both speaking as well as in the attempting the mocks itself. For that, one can follow video sources. These days various teachers teach on YouTube. Go through the basics first, see what kind of questions are asked, then begin attempting them, go to a higher level, and do read in newspaper as well, because that helps in building the vocabulary as well.
Yeah. So this year you have seen that paper was tough. So how much was you were confident after giving the exam?
Sir, honestly saying, because no one is ever confident, because the paper is unpredictable in itself. Because yes, I attempted a good fair amount of GA, so I knew that in my GA portion was all right. It was not like too bad, not too good, but I was very much dicey about my quant and the reasoning part, because they were not up to my expectations as to what I attempted. So I was a little dicey in that part. But in my English part, although I attempted good, but I could not score that much after the results came. So it was on a like average side.
So what was your score in the phase 1?
Approximately 85 marks.
So, and after the phase 1, most of the students are worried about the phase 2, how should they prepare, and most of the students start preparation earlier. I mean, before the notification
Comes.
they have started.
Yes.
So what was your strategy? You started earlier, as you have given in the previous attempt, also UPSC background. So how your UPSC background helped in the preparation of this phase 2? Yes.
I totally understand, sir, because when a notification comes, the adrenaline rush is very much there, that as to what will happen next, what the exam is about to come, and a lot of aspirants even start their preparation after the notification. But I was not one of them, and neither do I recommend anyone who's watching this to follow that strategy, because everyone has its own strengths and weaknesses. Someone might be able to clear the exam, but if you follow that strategy and you are not able to clear the exam, you will just end up wasting your whole year. So whatever time you have, please begin preparing right now itself, and make sure you complete your phase 1 before the phase 2. Make sure you complete the phase 2 before the phase 1 itself, so that after the phase 1 is over, you are just left with the revision part or some minor topics that were left beforehand, so that you are in a comfortable position that yes, I will now just have to revise what I have done previously and update what all things I have missed out. So that was my strategy.
Okay. So what was the major source for the phase 2 preparation, like economics and social issue? As if we will see the questions of the aspirants, there are a number of questions being repeatedly asked by the future aspirants. Anyone should follow PIB regularly. They should do their self from PIB, newspapers, RBI website. Regularly they should visit or not. They should study from the original source of the report.
Source. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And how much months current affair they should?
This is one very common question. I totally understand, sir. For if I talk about my own preparation, everyone could have their own strategy. What I did was I read the official reports cover to cover. I read the economic survey cover to cover. It was almost like 600 to 700 pages. I know it sounds daunting, but I was in a habit, and I definitely felt that it was very useful, because a lot of direct questions came in the phase 1 itself from the economic survey, and phase 2 also I somewhere or the other use it in the descriptive portion.
Yes.
So,
Very helpful for
it is very helpful. What you can do is read the economic survey booklet completely, and then go for the summary part. Don't just do the opposite. That I won't read the economic survey, but I'll just go through the summary. Because what happens is, in the summary it is a summarized version. So there is a possibility that whosoever is writing that summary might have missed something that is important for your examination. So in that respect, I always felt that one should always read the official reports. Sorry. Secondly, coming to the annual report of the RBI itself, I read that also cover to cover. Now that also seems a very big task, because in itself it is a very bulky book and contains a lot of data. But here you have to act strategically and smart as well. You need to filter out what content is important for you and what is not. Keep your syllabus in front of you, and then see that this thing matches with my syllabus. This can help me in the descriptive part as well as the objective part. Why I am focusing more on the descriptive part is because it has 200 marks out of the 300 mark paper. So it obviously becomes very much important, and it can be used in all the 3 papers. So that is why one should have a strong focus on the descriptive part. I am not saying that totally neglect the objective part, but focus more on what is more important.
So how many months current affair you studied for the specifically phase 2 part?
I did not specifically stop studying, but I believe from December itself. I started preparation in October, so I had a brief idea from October itself. But as the official reports came, some of the official reports of RBI, like the financial stability report was there, and the trends and progresses in banking report was there. I read those reports as well. So I can say fairly from December to January, you can start your preparation for phase 2 current affairs. But don't do it in an isolated manner, that yes, I'm preparing for this for only phase 2 and this is for phase 1 only. Because what I have seen is that a lot of questions that could be framed in phase 2 were asked directly in the phase 1 only this time. So if you just segregate that I'll read PIB later only, or I'll read the finance current affairs later only, it won't help you too much in the phase 1 itself. So I'd say continue reading those sources also.
Since last year, number of questions generally RBI used to ask in the phase 2.
In the phase 2,
yes,
sir. Yes, sir, absolutely.
That has been changed.
Yes, sir.
Even if we talk about the static part of the general awareness, finance and banking related static awareness they are asking, that is from the phase 2 part.
Exactly. And if one has not covered the phase 2 before phase 1, he will definitely miss out, and he'll just regret it later that these were the easy questions, but I could not clear. And those are the questions that you cannot afford to make wrong, because everyone out there who is a serious aspirant will definitely get them right. But if you are getting them wrong, then obviously the cutoff will be high, and you will be in a very dilemma stage.
At least 10 to 15 questions
they are definitely there. They are which are very much attemptable. And one thing in the phase 1 is you should strategize enough so that you can read the whole paper completely. I have seen a few friends of mine who could not even complete the 80 questions of the GA itself, because they did not follow the proper strategy. GA is like, you know the answer. You cannot guesswork or do anything else. So you should not spend a lot of time in the GA part itself.
And GA is only the section which will help you.
Definitely. It helped me as well, and because my focus was primarily on the GA itself.
And now for the FM part, what was the main source of preparation is? Any strategy specifically you followed the FM, and also for the descriptive part nowadays. Last year they introduced the descriptive part. So 600 word, 15 mark question, 400. 10 mark question.
Yes, sir.
Did you do any practice specifically?
Yes, sir.
What was your word limit in the exam?
Definitely, I did my practice. I won't say that I had a UPSC background, so I was in an overconfident state. I never let myself go into that state, because the exam pattern is different, the exam demands are different. In the UPSC pattern, you don't need too much of a data, but here if you substantiate as much data as possible, your answer will look more presentable and better. You will fetch more marks. So what I'll do is, what I did for the English descriptive, I'll start with that. I attempted 7 to 8 mocks before my phase 1 itself, and attempted them on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. So what I did was, I gave a mock on the Sunday or the Saturday, and analyzed it almost like 4 to 5 days later, so that I can get a new thought process and see what all mistakes I have made. If you just go analyze it immediately after giving the mock, you won't be able to do it in a better manner, because what I feel is, a person gets restricted with his own mindset. Okay, this is the best answer that I have written. No more points could be added. But you need a new perspective of things as well. So wait for a time before you analyze your mistakes and then improve on that. That's how I prepared for my English part. Now finance and management, I did attempt a few mock tests on your website as well, which were very helpful, and they got I got a bit good feedback on which I attempted myself, improved myself further.
Okay. So, for finance part specifically, did you follow that as many students have made that they should read FAQs from the RBI website? RBI's website they should follow regularly. Did you do that or?
I did follow the RBI website regularly and looked out for the important updates which were there, but I did not particularly refer to all the FAQ section because it is very much humongous and it is not humanly possible to remember each and everything. What I did was, if I took up a topic, let's say global financial crisis, I made sure that I have enough content that I am able to write 600 to 700 words, because if I prepare more, then only I could write less, either in a 400 word or in a 600 word. But if I am just preparing for a 250 or 300 word marker question, 200 or 350 marks, I won't be able to stretch it up to 600 words. So prepare according to that strategy and then cut it down as per the demands of the question. So this is the strategy I followed for the whole FM part, that I prepared a particular topic according to the need of the topic and then did my.
Okay, so and in exam, as time is very less, 90 minutes is given for the descriptive part. And word limit approximate 2000 word you have to write. So what was your attempt, means how much words you were able to write in the exam?
I remember almost I was able to touch the word limit. I'm not exactly sure. In some questions I even exceeded the word limit, and in some questions I was below the word limit. So on an average I was near about the word limit itself. I'm not exactly sure of the exact word count, but almost if it was asked 2000 words, I starkly wrote around 1800 to 1900 words.
So as most of the students are afraid of this descriptive part specifically, as 200 marks is now allocated to the descriptive, and this is very important in
Absolutely,
your selection.
absolutely.
So what will you suggest for the future aspirants? How should they work specifically for the descriptive exam?
Look, we need to understand what is the descriptive question basically asking first, because if I don't understand what the question is asking, how will I able to answer it? First, understanding comes via mock test. Give mock test and see whether you are able to attempt the question or not. Now, attempting the question is in itself an art, because it requires a proper articulation of how you present things. Because examiner does not know what is going on in your mind. He just knows what you have written on the computer screen. So now if we talk about the articulation part, the basic format is the introduction, body and conclusion part. In the introduction part, what I did was I used two to three formats. Either I started with the data, example, if I say climate change, there's a question on climate change, I would put up a brief pointer about climate change, that this is the impact. That gives you a very good head start as to, yes, the person knows. Or either I start with the current affair related to the thing, as because I remember there was a question in essay on one sun, one world, one grid, and it happened in November itself. So if you're not aware of the current affairs, you won't be able to even recognize what the question is all about. So I gave a hint about the COP26 that happened that year and started my essay with that perspective. And the third is a quote or something that you can refer to, that is usually in a philosophical questions, like in an essay or something, but that is like, you can keep it for the last stage. If you don't have anything else to start, then you can use that. I used a quote in the middle of my answer, in one of my answer in the actual examination. So I did not particularly use it in the start itself. Now comes the body part. In the body, prefer to write in points itself, because it gives you a clear cut segregation, because it is not a pen and paper examination that you can highlight your points. It is just on the keyboard, and what you can do to segregate is make pointers for your answers and just write accordingly. And then comes the conclusion part. Write a positive and a futuristic conclusion. Always don't take any sides that yes, this is right or this is wrong. Be neutral enough, because you are appearing for a government examination, and that is a central government exam. So please don't take sides. Let's say suppose a question is pro or anti-government. So don't just take too harsh or a too favorable side. Stay in the middle ground. Tell some positive suggestions that could be implemented. That's how I prepared for the descriptive part.
Some questions students
Yes, sure, sir, sure.
In descriptive answer, have you written American spellings or British spellings like color or color?
It does not matter. It does not matter at all. I particularly followed. I most probably follow British in language because usually we are taught that only. But it does not matter much.
One student asked how many months need to study.
Look, that question depends on your own personal capability as to how you grasp things and how you do not. I started from October itself, and honestly saying, I gave every IBPS exam that came. Let me say, as it is as a plan B for my RBI or as a preparation phase for my RBI. Now let me give a very small example, because for some people descriptive typing on the keyboard is very new, but I had given 3 examinations before my RBI itself, so I had a brief idea as to how the keyboard works, how is the interface pattern, and what not interfaces. For someone who is very new to the process, he'll be like shocked, because we are used to writing on a very sophisticated keyboards that do not hang or they do not lag or anything of that sort. But that does not happen in the actual examination.
Yes, and many students nowadays, what they are doing, that they are appearing in other exams only for sake of experience in descriptive examination. And also it gives a help in when you are to know you about the pattern of the question.
Pattern of the question
as
well.
Question
Yes.
they are asking
Yes.
in the quant reasoning, so you will be familiar with them.
But my focus primarily was to give any examination that I gave with whole CSS. It was not like I'm not focused towards RBI, but yes, I was exercising my plan B options as well, because as I stated in my introduction, this was my 4th year of preparation, and so I could not take a risk that not giving any examination seriously. So yes, I gave all the examinations seriously, but I did learn from those mistakes that the real examination provided me.
Can I prepare for RBI at the age of 28?
Yes, definitely. I think the upper age limit for general category is 30 years.
30.
So yes, you should prepare. If you have all those facilities, you should definitely prepare.
Now come to the interview part, and after the result was declared within 15 days of the phase 2 exam. Now, how did you start it? What was your strategy? And interview is also playing a great role in selection. 75 marks is there.
Definitely.
So even if you are at the cutoff, then you can be in. If you
either you make it or a break it question.
Yes.
It is yes. Interview, sir, is the most difficult or the daunting phase for me till now, because what happens is my interview was scheduled on September 22nd. So I had a fair good amount of time for preparation as well. So I did plan a strategy that I'll cover my main subjects first beforehand, so that whenever I give mocks also, I'm at least aware of what I have read. Because what happens is, whenever we give any examination, we very quickly tend to forget what we have read. That happens in any examination, be it a graduation examination or any competitive examination as well. So I went through all those phase 1 phase 2 material that I had prepared for. So that was like a revision session for me. Apart from that, I did follow some 2 newspapers that were did on a regular basis, so as to get a good hold of what the current situation was. I stopped referring to the PDFs or the video courses that were there, because they are for the phase 1 and the phase 2. In interview, nobody is going to ask who was appointed there, who was appointed there. It is more of an analytical subject, an analytical process, so you need to organize accordingly. And thirdly, sir, I did go through my biodata in every detail possible. There was a question I remember definitely that it was mentioning PIN code. So I even went to the detail of looking at as to what the exact PIN code meant. Although I do not recommend to go in every such detail possible, but please make sure you prepare your biodata from by heart, so that no question can be is missed.
Okay, so what was your experience with the panel?
It was definitely a very much quite undescribable actually, because what happened was my interview was on Thursday. On Sunday I felt terribly ill. I was down with fever and my throat also got internal cuts, so I could not speak properly, and I had cough as well. And so I tried to compose myself and felt a little better. But as soon as I entered the room, it was a very big grandeur hall of 6 people sitting, and as soon as I entered, my throat got completely dry and I could not utter a single word. But I somehow managed to convince that what I was about to say, but I was speaking a little faster. So the panel was also very cordial. They asked, oh, "Are you all right? Aram se, you can speak slowly as well." So I was not very much satisfied with my performance actually, because as I expected, as you prepare for 2 to 3 months, you expect a better result. But what happened was my throat got dry, so I could not speak properly. So I was very much disheartened, honestly saying. But yeah, fortunately I made it.
Okay, so yeah, finally you are selected.
Yes, sir.
So now, one more question.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Do they ask for the proof against what you have written in your biodata?
They don't particularly ask for the proof itself as to what kind of proof is someone asking as to basically what they did was to ask questions from the biodata itself. It's not like some kind of proof, but yes, the document verification is a different process altogether. If you are referring to the document verification, that is a different, yes, that happens.
He may be asking about the certification courses. Certification courses, they will not ask the proof, but definitely they will grill you on
They definitely did. I also mentioned a internship program that I did in my graduation days, and I had 3 to 4 questions on that internship, particularly internship as well. So that is why where the preparing a biodata form thoroughly becomes very much important, because if I did not know what I did in my internship, I would just go blank and they would understand that he's just bluffing over there. So that makes a very bad impression on the panel, and you don't want that to happen.
So at the end, what will you advise the future aspirants if any mistake during the preparation you made, or any suggestion to the future aspirants for this exam preparation?
A few things, I don't know if they are very much relevant, or a lot of people say, but you just tend to ignore. Please, first of all, please stay away from distractions. There are a lot of distractions today, either be it on social media or any other type of distractions. You need to be serious to crack such examinations. You cannot just go out there and depend on your luck itself. Yes, luck does play a very important role, but you have to put in the hard work itself. And secondly, sir, these days there is a notion of smart work, that don't do hard work, do smart work. I personally could never recognize what smart work meant. Actually, what I did was to stop making notes from this current affairs, because I thought that was the smart work. But unfortunately, that was stupidity itself, because I could not remember even a single word from that. So later on, I realized that don't follow the trends blindly. Make your own strategy and then work accordingly. And thirdly, constant analysis is very much important, because what happens is we tend to lose the goal itself over the period of time, because it's November right now and the examination might be in April, May, June or somewhere of that sort. So what we need to do is to see whether we are actually improving, or we are just studying for the sake of studying or whatnot. Do a constant analysis of how your preparation is going, so that you stay on the right path and can be eternally motivated as well, that yes, I am going on the right path. I've completed this much syllabus, although this might not be to the actual goal, but still that is something that I've done till now, and yes, I can do better as well.
Okay, any suggestion specifically for the UPSC aspirants, as you have done 3 attempts, so many UPSC aspirants also diverted their goal towards RBI as a backup plan also. So what will be your suggestion to them?
Giving a very blanket suggestion is quite tough at the moment, because everyone is at a different stage of their preparation. If I was at a 21 years of age and I would have started my UPSC preparation right now, I would not look for any other backup plans, but I would give my whole focus on that. But if I have given 3-4 attempts but I'm not succeeding enough, I have my other responsibilities as well. I need financial freedom. There is a lot of mental pressure as well that comes with a long preparation. Then I would say you need to rethink how your preparation is going on. Are there any other options that are available to you? Should you exercise them first and then go back to your UPSC preparation? Because what happens is, it is very difficult to leave something where we are truly attached to something. If I'm spending 3 years for an examination, definitely I'm attached to the notion of getting into the examination. So equally hard is to leave that notion and switch gears. But in life, sometimes that is very much important. That teaches a big lesson in life as well. So my advice would be to see other aspects as well if you wish to. If you do not have any such compulsions or any other sort, you are good to go with your preparation as well.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
for joining this session.
Thank you so much, sir.
It will definitely help the future aspirants
I
and
hope so.
all those who are watching this video. So thank you for joining, and wish you good luck for your future journey.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.